Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we want to dive into one of the more popular videos that we're getting lots of comments about, which is Morton's neuroma. And so I wanted to dig into that topic a little bit further and really discuss how your posture can tie into your Morton's neuroma. And we will explore the connection between forward posture, Morton's neuroma, as well as give you some helpful tips on what you can do about it. So let's dive right in. First, let's understand what Morton's neuroma is all about. Morton's neuroma is a painful condition that affects the nerves in the foot, most commonly the nerves between the third and the fourth toe. So oftentimes you feel a lot of numbness or really sharp burning pain along that region. It's oftentimes associated with repetitive stress, maybe running too much, especially on improper surfaces like really hard asphalt or concrete with maybe not the best footwear. Biomechanics play a huge role in Morton's neuroma. We've talked about some of those in our other videos, but today I really want to focus on the abnormality, which is forward posture. And most people have forward posture. It's a result of how we use our body all day, whether we're at the computer, we're down on our phones, or maybe even we have to sketch something or do something by hand. I noticed even when people aren't working or using their phones, they sit like this, which all leads to this forward posture, where your head goes forward, your shoulders, your pelvis even tilts forward, and that leads to a shift in the arch of the foot, which this whole chain has to overwork then to try to keep you up. And again, Morton's neuroma is affecting the front of your foot. So all that increased pressure on the forefoot, where the metatarsals are, creates this irritation of the nerves, and over time this excessive pressure can contribute to the development of Morton's neuroma. Now that we understand the connection, let's look at some of the symptoms and the warning signs that may indicate a potential issue for you. If you're experiencing this sharp burning pain along the ball of the foot, particularly between the third and the fourth ray, it is really important that you pay attention to your posture. Other signs, again, may include numbness or feeling like you have a pebble or a thorn in your shoe that increases the discomfort while you're wearing shoes, particularly narrower shoes that kind of squeeze the forefoot here. So if you suspect you have forward posture, which may be contributing, don't worry. It's actually easy to check. Look through that phone you're probably watching this on and look at some of the photos that you have of yourself. Does it feel like you're upright when you're in your photos, or does it feel like your posture might be contributing? If it is contributing, it's really important that we start to strengthen the opposite muscles to pull the weight back onto the heel. Again, the heel has less sensitive nerves than the front of your foot. So if we can distribute the weight evenly, even a little bit more on the heel, it stacks the spine instead of the joints. So first and foremost, it's important that we start to strengthen those. That includes focusing on your glutes and your hamstrings and strengthening your core. So my favorite few are air squats, which you can kind of do a squat without any weights at all. Lower yourself down to like a hover right above the seat that you're sitting on right now. Hold that for a few seconds and then come back up. And repeat that somewhere between 12 and 20 times. My favorite core stretch or strengthening, my favorite core strengthening is doing planks. And I would start with just 15 to 20 seconds in the beginning because you don't want to fatigue out those muscles. Once that gets easy, proceed on to 30 to 40 seconds. And your ultimate goal would be working up towards a minute at a time. But again, it's really important that you want to keep your spine in a neutral position. We have another video on that, so check out our core strengthening tips and tricks. But going back to strengthening everything in the core, your glutes and your hamstrings. It's also important that you make wise footwear decisions. So we alluded to it earlier. You don't want to squeeze that forefoot because that really irritates the nerves. Make sure you have a wide toe box. And I particularly like Ultras. There are other companies as well that really custom or cater to a wider toe box. I'm wearing Lems right now. They also have a wide toe box and not a lot of a drop. So they're great. And then lastly, it's important to check out if you need some type of insoles. The insoles are going to lift up all the different arches of the foot so that it doesn't stretch all the tissue on the bottom of the foot. Again, you can imagine if you're leaning forward, everything is extra stretched because you're trying to pull yourself back into a more neutral position. But if your arches are collapsed, it takes even more work. So getting your feet assessed, we have another video where we talk about at-home assessments for whether or not you may need an insole. So I'd encourage you to check that out as well. If it's really irritated, what I would suggest, people always ask, should I heat it or should I ice it? And I strongly encourage you start with ice, because when those nerves are inflamed, the ice will decrease some of the inflammation there. Ice it for 20 minutes and then give it 40 minutes, and then you can do it again for another 20. That on-off really helps to build up the benefit that you're really trying to accomplish. With a foot, it's super easy to get a bucket of water, throw a bunch of ice in there and put your foot in, versus trying to get an ice pack that wraps all the way around your foot. So if you have the ability to put your foot in ice, I would encourage you to do that. And pro tip, if you put your foot in the cold water before you put in the ice and then you dump in the ice, it's kind of like boiling a lobster or a frog. They're less likely to freak out if it slowly changes in temperature. So remember, correcting your posture and managing your Morton's neuroma is a journey that requires patience and consistency. It's unlike other issues where, like, maybe you just reset a joint or reset some muscles and all of a sudden it's better. But because it's usually a slow onset, it's unfortunately kind of a slower offset. So make sure that you follow all of these proactive steps so that you can improve your posture, alleviate the pain, and enhance your overall health so you can get back out and really doing the things that you love. So if you found this video helpful, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. We'll keep coming out with more and more informative content. Take care, and we'll see you on the next video.